Good morning, everyone. It's me, Erica. I guess good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day that this video finds you. I hope you're having a lovely day. Today, we're going to be doing a couple of different spreads in my Commonplace book. So yeah, while I get into those, I guess I'll just tell you how my life's been. As you can see in the first clips, I woke up to snow and I was so pleased. I love snow. Also, if you can hear my cat eating in the background, I'm sorry. But I love snow. Where I live, it hasn't really snowed in like 5 years. Last winter we didn't even get snow. Like, I think it flurried once, but like nothing accumulated on the ground, like absolutely nothing. And so I've woken up a couple of times to it snowing, but it never really lasts more than like a couple hours. And then the sun comes out and the snow is gone in like an hour. And it's only ever like a dusting. So I woke up and it was snowing. And then the snow that you see here is one of those where it stopped in like an hour and then the sun came out and it was gone. But then the next day, after I filmed this, I woke up to it snowing again, and I checked the weather and it was supposed to last all day. And I thought, now's my chance. I go for a walk at the same kind of hiking. I don't necessarily know if I would call it a hike, but the same trail. And I have 3 pictures of it, or I guess 4 now, or 5 now. I had pictures of it, you know, in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, and then kind of when everything was like stick season, everything was dead, and I really wanted a picture of it in the snow, so I could kind of scrapbook it. I have like a 4-photo vision in my head. And maybe it's vain to have to or desire to go hiking just to see everything covered in snow and just so I can take pictures of everything covered in snow. But I thought this might be the only opportunity I get. Again, I don't really know if it's going to snow more. I don't know. It was only enough to kind of like cover the grass. In some places the grass was still sticking out, or like the dead leaves was still sticking out. But I just love it. So I had to go. I layered up. I am determined to figure out how to layer and stay warm in the winter as well. And I think fabric composition is really important. So I was kind of testing some different layers and I went for a walk. And I was just so giddy. I turn into a little girl when there's snow on the ground. It just makes me so happy and so pleased. Snow is something so like wonderful to me. And I mean that in like the traditional sense of the word, of like inspiring wonder. And I just love it. There's something awesome about it, again, in the very ancient definition. I just love it. It feels magical to me. It feels like it's the world trying to force everyone to rest and hit the pause button. Yeah, so it's been really nice. I've been going for those walks. Yeah, for the past week or so, I've been going like every other day, which has been really nice. It finally got my sleep schedule intact. So when they tell you guys to get actual sunlight to help reset your sleep schedule, they unfortunately are not lying. You should do it. So that's what I did. And then I just came home and I sat and yeah, I cut this picture too short, but it ended up being okay. And then I accidentally printed another one, so I could replace it if I really wanted to. But then I came home and I just it was a holiday. It was Martin Luther King Day in the US, which is essentially, unfortunately, one of those holidays that people only like because you get off of work and I think school. I don't know about school anymore. I haven't gone to school in years. We didn't get it off for college, but I think that was weird for my college. I think you're supposed to get off, but again, it's one of those where like it should be a really important holiday, and it should spark a lot of discussions, but it doesn't. Most people just kind of take advantage of it to get the day off work, which I did too. I went for a walk, and then I came home and I just kind of sat by the fireplace and played some games. I played Animal Crossing. I played a new one called Palia. Palia. Palia? Palia? I don't know how to say it. And I kind of just enjoyed the cold winter wonderland day. I was going to make some hot chocolate, but my Ember mug wasn't charged. The charger's been broken for, like, again, years. I use a little square of tinfoil because one of the charger prongs is, like, broken and won't pop back out. It's, like, stuck in. So it needs 2 prongs to kind of touch the metal rings at the bottom of the mug. And so I was like, I don't want to buy a new charger. What can I do? So I just take little squares of tinfoil and I fold them until they're like the right height. So I got it to charge last night, but not in time for me to have the delicious hot chocolate, but that's okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about with you guys is like my ins and outs, hobby-wise for 2024. If you've seen that trend on social media, it's kind of just describing what you want more of and what you want less of in your life. And I wanted to tell you guys about mine because I think that there is a lesson here. Maybe not really. I just wanted to talk about it. But one of the things that I want to bring into my life is playing more video games again. I think that's just because a lot of my friends play video games, and they hang out like in Xbox party. And so if I'm not in Xbox party, it's kind of hard to hang out with them, and then it's kind of hard to like watch YouTube or watch TV when everyone's talking in a party. You can't hear what's going on. So we don't necessarily all have to be playing the same games. It's fun if we're all in the same game together, but we don't necessarily have to be. And so I would like to play more video games this year and to find games that I like. A lot of the games that I play with them are like Call of Duty and Destiny, and that's like a lot of grinding and a lot of, shooting things. And I don't always want to shoot things in my video games. So I've been trying to find video games that I do like that I can just sit and party and play. So Animal Crossing is one. I've gotten back into it. I didn't play it for like 3 months. And then Palia is one that I think I can get into. I've only played like 3 or 4 hours of it. But I like the graphics and it's kind of cute. So, and it looks like a good level of grind where I have to, it's going to take obviously some work. Not everything's like easy. And there also seems to be some good story. Sorry, my cat has the zoomies, so if you hear anything, that's what's going on back there. But one of my outs hobby-wise is sewing, actually. I tried knitting last year as well, and it gave me motion sickness. I could probably try it again now that I'm no longer on birth control, because I think my birth control was what was giving me a lot of motion sickness with games. And knitting and just weird blood sugar things. So I could probably try it again, and I would like to try it again eventually. But yeah, so knitting was already out, but sewing, I have to be in a very particular mood to sew. And I feel like I have a lot of sewing supplies, a lot of scrap fabrics from like projects that like I half did. I've learned that I'm not someone who can... I've successfully cloned a pair of pants now, and it was like borderline unsuccessful, like I almost failed. But I'm the sort of person who needs a pattern, like I need to be following a pattern, and then the clothes that I've made from patterns, I never wear. And I don't know if that's because I just have like this weird stigma of, I know it's handmade, and so I don't think that it's going to last, and I think it's going to break or rip while I'm wearing it. Or even though they're arguably made even better than like Shein clothing. But I just find that when I am sewing, unless I have a pattern, it doesn't turn out well. When I am using a pattern, I get frustrated very easily, and then I have to stop, and so it takes me a long time to do projects, and then I'm never wearing the clothes. The clothes that I do consistently wear that I have sewn have been my corset. I made a corset and I've worn it like 3 or 4 times, and I really like it because it makes me stand straighter, honestly. But it's just cute. It's kind of like an accessory. So I think maybe one day I will go back to sewing once I have a little bit more patience or a little bit more time and space, but just given what my plan is for the next 6 months to a year of moving across the country, I can't sew while I'm moving. I could hand sew, but I don't want to do that. And then also when I get there, I'm going to be kind of focused on like furniture and like, yeah, saving money. So sewing is unfortunately an out. I just find it's really frustrating, and I don't wear anything that I've made. I have used a lot of pot holders. I've made a lot of scrap fabric pot holders, and I do plan on making one more thing. I plan on making a cover for my Switch. I have a carrying case for it, but it's my boyfriend's Switch and my boyfriend's carrying case, and so I don't like them. I think they're ugly. The yellow is fine. I'm getting used to the yellow of my Switch. But his carrying case is like Mario themed, and it is a hard carrying case, so like when I travel, I will probably use that. But when it's like just around my room and stuff, I don't want it just to be sitting out. Like I don't like the idea of the sun always hitting the screen, or, you know, I don't want it to fade. I don't want it to fall and like the buttons break, so I'm just gonna make like a cute little padded case because I have some extra quilting material, and that should be like a one-day make. It should be fine. But that's on my out list. Another in is writing, journaling, and commonplacing. There was like the past, I think it was December, all I was doing was I was writing. I literally have a video where I talk about this. I was writing. Hi, Kika, I see you. I do. I was writing, I was journaling, I was commonplacing, and that was like all I was rotating in between, and I was like my happiest I've ever been, like in a long time. And so clearly that means I should do more of that. And so I'm adding video games in because one of my goals for this year is to focus on my relationships, both like romantic, platonic, familial. And so I think it's important for me, in order to meet my friends kind of where they are and compromise where I'm maybe not going to play the same game that they're playing, but I'm playing a game I like. At least I will then be playing a game and be able to have space and time to listen to them and hang out with them. Sort of, that's why I want to do that. But more reading and more writing and more journaling, because wow, it's just great. It just is, I feel my happiest. Oh, and hiking too. Like those are the hobbies that I want more of. I want more writing. I like almost finished a book that I haven't been able to finish in like 2 years, just in like past 2 months, because I've just been nonstop writing it. I guess it just finally clicked. Whatever I needed, plot wise or time in my life wise, experience wise, it just clicked. Journaling, because I really want to record my memories. Like after that day in the snow, I actually recorded it. I recorded a journal with me. It's going to be silent, and it's just going to be like 30 minutes of me journaling. And I just wrote about my experiences that day, wrote about my feelings. I slapped in some pictures, and like that's what I want for my journaling this year. I just want it to be more of like a memory keeping of like the mundane and the daily, not necessarily all my feelings. Of course, my feelings and like moving through and processing things is going to be part of that as well. But also the day-to-day mundane stuff. I love going back and reading about that, the journals that do have that, but it's very rare and far in between, and I think that this year is going to be a really big year in my life. I don't know why. I mean, obviously, I'm moving, right? I'm moving in with my boyfriend. I'm moving across the country. I'm going to go do a lot of traveling on the way there. I'm taking my time. So I just want to do more journaling for that sense. And then commonplacing is just fun. It makes me feel like I'm interacting with my hobbies and my interests. It makes me feel very involved and engaged, and therefore more fulfilled from my hobbies and interests. And then also the community online is just great. Like, again, I always talk about how I'm always grateful for you guys' comments. I was tagged in someone's favorites list. I'll link that creator down below so you can check out that video that they did. It's just like a nice community. Like I feel like I'm friends, or not friends, but like I feel like I'm mutuals with a lot of small accounts on Instagram and on Tumblr, and you know, we might not be the best of friends, or I don't know if I would even consider us friends, but we're mutuals, right? Like I have mutuals, and I feel like I have people that I can like comment on their posts and not be judged or be like, who the F is this person? But yeah, and then hiking and yoga. I would like to be healthier this year. I've already started including more like microgreens and more like fruits into my diet. And I've been feeling a lot better in my body, a lot more energetic now that I have like my vitamin supplements from my doctor, and then also like complemented by like good food, and now complemented by walking more often. Like I just want to be more physically active, and that's not necessarily working out. Maybe one day we'll get there, I don't know. But just being more, just moving more, not just sitting at my desk all day or laying in my bed all day. And experiencing nature. Nature is something that I find like divine and holy. And so being able to go for walks and like appreciate the changes in nature and just soak in that fresh air, it really feels, as dramatic as it sounds, it feels sacred to me. Like those moments when I'm hiking feel very special and feel very grounding and connective in a way that I can't explain. There's a cliche quote, it circles around every now and then, about like I've felt more sense of divinity or sacredness out in nature than I ever have in a church, and that is just true for me. I think everyone's different, right? So if you're someone who loves going to church and gets that special feeling out of religion and church, then like please keep doing that. I have no judgment towards anyone for absolutely anything, but for me, it's the being outside, it's the putting my hands in dirt that makes everything so special. It makes me feel connected, so obviously I want to do a little bit more of that. Another on my outs list is forcing myself to finish books. And I think I was never someone who, like, if I absolutely hated a book or was really, really not feeling it, that I would like force myself to push through. I'm not that kind of person, but I am a person like with this second book of this Woven Kingdom series, like it's called These Infinite Threads. Like I'm 25% through and I'm still like, ugh, nothing has happened. Like I'm bored. I'm no longer connected to these characters because I felt like the ending of the first book just was not my thing. It's not like 25% through and I'm like, first of all, I had to tell myself like, okay, let's just try and get to 25% and then we'll make some decisions there. And then I got to, I think, 25 or 27, maybe even 30%. And I'm still bored. And I'm like, I want to finish it. Part of it is because like, of like the whole Goodreads or reading challenges, like I want to read 36 books this year, but at the same time, like, isn't the point of reading, I've watched a lot of videos recently where people, creators have talked about this, isn't the point of reading to like find more books that you enjoy and read more books that like you enjoy and have really good reading years? There's my forehead. I swear, these videos make my forehead look so big. I promise it's not that big. It is that round. My face is that round, but my forehead is not that big. Anyway, hi. Yes, I see you. He wants to play. This is Ranger, by the way, if you heard him little meowing. But yeah, the point is to find more books that you enjoy and to have good reading years and to read books that you find fun and enjoyable that you can't put down. And so I've just felt like another book I started with, The Spell of the Sensuous. It's my goal to read more environmentally conscious or sustainable books this year. And so I started with Spell of the Sensuous and I found like the first 50 pages, like the most magical pages ever. Like I highlighted something on every page. It was resonating. It was wonderful. And then like he started talking about like language and I was like, okay, you lost me. And so it took me forever to decide that like I don't have to finish that book. I also just think nonfiction books are easier to put down because I've always been of the mentality that you don't have to finish an entire nonfiction book. Like that's not the point of nonfiction books. The point of them is to get the information you need. You never have to read a nonfiction book cover to cover. So it's a little bit easier for me to put those down. But like, again, like I wanted to read this series and I'm not enjoying it. So like, I probably should put it down. I probably should just let my like library hold like expire on Hoopla. But like, yeah, it's been a lot more difficult for me to let go of the fiction books. So I picked up the Shatter Me series, which is a reread. Like, I own all the books. I own the first 3 in ebook form, and then I own the last 3 hardcover. Hardcover first edition, which I will be holding on to, but I don't have the book jackets. Also, please let me know, are you a book jacket person? I freaking hate book jackets, and so I never keep them. I should probably start, because I think those are more for like when it's on your shelf to protect it. But my Shatter Me books don't have book jackets because I hate them. Also, actually, I don't even remember if they came with book jackets. Anyway, I don't like book jackets. I'm sure they're somewhere in my room. I think I kept them because I was like, I'll probably need these one day. But anyway, so I went back to the Shatter Me series, and I'm rereading that. I read it in high school, and like I'm already enjoying it much more. Yeah, and then also I picked up the book Cultish. So I've started Cultish, which is about language, but it very much sets you up from the beginning that this book is going to be about language and how we use language, and how language is used specifically in cults or in cult-like groups. And that book is just fascinating, by the way. If you are interested in cults whatsoever, or if you have always thought like the CrossFit girlies are a little too invested, or like about multi-level marketing schemes, if you're interested in any of that, it's a really good book and I would recommend it. But again, it sets you up from the beginning to focus on language and how we use language, versus Spell of the Sensuous. It starts off very like nature focused and like religion focused, and then all of a sudden it starts talking about philosophy and language, and I'm like, what? Anyway, so that's one of my outs for this year. I would like to allow myself to put down books that I know are like a 3-star book. Like, I want to read more 4 and 5-star books, and so I think if a book is like a 2.5 or a 3-star, I need to just let myself put it down. There have been 3-star books that like I've enjoyed, like Mexican Gothic, I would say is like a solid 3-star book to me, just because like it went from 0 to like 1,000 in like 30 pages. But that story was gripping and unique and interesting enough for me to like it or want to continue reading. But there's something about like these infinite threads that I'm like, you lost me at the end of the first book. I'm not connected to these characters at all. And like the first book, I think I rated it 3 stars as well, but like it was so interesting and so unique and lovely that I let myself finish it. And then like my boyfriend was on FaceTime with me when it got to the end. I was like actually like saying things out loud, like, oh my god, or like gasping, and then like they ruined it by throwing an overpowered character in the end and like exaggerating magic when the kingdom that she was in had like not that use of magic. And now the second book, like I'm 25% in and they've just flown to another place on a dragon. Like that's literally the only thing that's happened. And so I'm like, I'm not like, there's nothing, like it's not even like that it's like just slow paced. It's quite frankly that like nothing is happening. So I need to just let myself put down books. Yeah, so those are some of my in and outs of this year. I still have a little bit of time to talk, so I think I'm going to tell you about the new game. I've been playing Palia. I don't know. It's a game. It's an online game. It's free also, by the way. So if you're looking for a new game to play, that's free. It's on the Switch and laptop or desktop. And it took a long time to download on my Switch, but I've played on both. It gives me motion sickness on my Switch, but not on my laptop, which is very odd. I don't know why. Usually it's the opposite. Larger screens I have the issue with, and smaller screens I don't. Minecraft on all platforms gives me motion sickness, by the way, as like a baseline. But it seems cute. It's about like a game. You get plopped down in this town called Palia, whatever it is, and everyone is purple and they have elf ears and it's great. And I think it's technically an MMORPG. MMORPG is like what it is. But kind of just burst into existence and they're like, the humans are coming back, like, and it's kind of the main plot line seems to be trying to figure out why humans are suddenly appearing out of nowhere, because apparently we're some like ancient race or civilization or something like that. And then like all of the other stuff is more like, you know, there's farming, there's building stuff, there's decorating a house, there's hunting, which is new for me. I've never hunted in a game, and I feel kind of crappy every time I do hunt in that game. I didn't almost cry, but like I was making sad pouty faces. I was like, I don't want to kill the deer. But it's a game, so it's okay. It's really beautiful. The graphics are beautiful. And it's like a really cute game. I'm interested to play more. I'm liking it. The controls were a little, I don't know. I don't play on PC also. Like I'm mostly an Xbox player, so to learn the controls on PC, I haven't played a PC game since like middle school. So it like took me a moment to figure out, and then I felt that they were much more intuitive on Switch. When I played on Switch, like I didn't need the tutorials as much. I've heard it's laggy on Switch. I just think it's laggy. I don't have like a beast of a computer. I just have like a normal Asus VivoBook from like 2020 or 2019 or something. I think it does have an AMD graphics card, but I think it only has like 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM. Like it runs The Sims fine. I love The Sims, but like most computers can run The Sims. But this seems like a little bit like a tier above The Sims in terms of like computer requirements, and so it's a little laggy on my laptop too, and I keep getting a pop-up that like it doesn't like AMD like the graphics card that I have, and so it wants me to update my drivers, and then I tried to do that, and then it's like an hour-long process and it wouldn't update. So I'm just gonna stick with the graphics. But then I played it on my Switch and it looked the same graphic wise. Like there was a weird thing where the eyes just look really like grainy and glitchy. But I don't know. It's a very cute game so far. I'm excited to keep playing it and to learn more. We're just finishing up the pages now. The first one was about a spread on restorative yoga poses. They looked really comfy and had lots of pillows, and so I'd like to try them if I can find enough pillows. I think maybe I have enough. And then the second page is about how wine gets its flavoring, so-called, like when they say wine tastes like cherries, like where does that come from? But suddenly my video is ending, so I hope you guys have a lovely day. You absolutely 100% deserve it, and I hope I see you guys next time. Okay, bye guys.